What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders 2. Now, DD2 is just in desperate need of an update, as there's just nothing really left to do other than grind onslaught, which is just a mindless bore. However, we do know that an update is on the way, so I wanted to dip back into some Dungeon Defenders 2 and kind of see where I'm at and where, just some basic, very similar builds will hold up. There's been a lot of talk about new metas with the last update, and to be honest with you, not that much has changed in the last update. In fact, if you do the exact same builds that you used to do, but throw in a couple of explosive traps, you're going to find you have yourself some pretty wild success just using explosive traps and the petrify combo. Now, explosive traps were extremely powerful before the last update, and in the last update, they actually got a little mini buff. So that makes them kind of a no-brainer as the go-to powerhouse for damage in Dungeon Defenders 2 right now. Now, where I left off was I was doing Ancient Power resets. I got up to Ancient Power 72. I did my last reset finally, and now I'm getting my stuff leveled back up. You see, I've actually got no points applied right at the moment. I should go through and fill all the gaps there. However, just wanted to see how I would do without having any of the Ancient Power points in, as the Ancient Power is certainly nice, but it's definitely not required by any means. So here we are. I'm working my way back up. I've got a whole lot of stuff that's 0 of 5 Chaos 8. I haven't done anything new. I've got all of my old setups. Some of them are still Chaos 7, a few of them are 0 of 5 Chaos 8, and I've got nothing that's 5 of 5 Chaos 8. So I got no real pure powerhouse stuff going on yet, and just going to go with kind of a standard issue Petrify build, using Reflect Beams to protect versus the Cyborgs, just like we used to before. And the only difference is I'm going to take that old Tester Relic that I used to play around with, I'm going to throw it up front on some oil geysers to get a little oil in the mix, because that new Ignite combo is without a doubt quite good. So I'm going to be using that, and then I'm going to throw in those mighty explosive traps. Now for the explosives, I'm going with Controller, Defense Rate, and Anti-Melee, with Mass Destruction, and Fire for Effect. So let's see what we can do. We're here on Siphon Site D, floor 52. I can't imagine, even in 0 of 5 gear, that this is going to be a super strong challenge. However, let's go ahead and check it out. So we got 800 mana to spend, or 800 DU and 1,000 mana to spend. Let's just start right here. We've got Omega Squad Alpha. Now, the main problem in this lane, of course, will be the Berserkers, as those Lady Orcs like to get uppity. And we do have a core right here. So we've got no Cyborgs here. We don't have to worry a ton about any sort of Cyborg protection. But let's get some things in. So let's just start off with a little bit of crowd control here. So let's go with a Proton Beam with Poison, of course, covering the lane. We're going to throw our old Reflect Beam setup in just to get that earth damage. And how do we want to put it here? Wow, why am I having so many collision issues here? Let's see, let's back it up a little and go something with the terrain differences, the altitude changes. Let's just go something like that. Doesn't matter if it's derpy looking. The main thing we want to do here is get Petrify in. So we've got our crowd control in. We don't have any form of damage in, though. So the Reflect Beam, of course, used to be our main form of damage. Now we're going to want to throw in a little something else. Let's get some explosive traps in there and see if we can't sneak 2 of them in. I think with the derpy placement, I might have to just go with just 1. So let's just do that. We'll put 1 right in the middle. And now we've got a little bit of power, and we've got some crowd control in. Well, what else can we do? Well, we know that Ignite combo got buffed. So let's go ahead and throw an Oil Geyser in right up front of everything. And then we'll drop in just a couple of Flame Auras to fill out the DU for the lane. Now we spent 170 DU per lane. Or in this lane, we know that every map, 180 DU will get the job done for you. So we are able to, I think that lane will hold up. No other crowd control, just the Petrify. Let's go ahead and move on. Now, I don't have anything overcapped for Frosties. However, I am only on floor 52. So the weakness of this setup that I'm currently using would without a doubt be Frost Orcs. We got an absolute assload of Frost Orcs here, so we're going to want to be a little cautious. So let's go ahead and do the same thing. We'll get our Proton Beam in. We'll make sure to get that Petrify in for the CC. Now here, actually we don't have any Cyborgs here either, so we don't have to be super cautious with our Reflect Beam placement. Let's just spray it across here just to get the earth damage in for that Petrify combo. And then what do we want to do next? Well, you know, we can rinse and repeat. Let's go ahead and throw an Oil Geyser right up front. We might actually be able to go 2 on that one if we want. And then here I think we'll drop in a couple of Splodies. Let's see, we'll go just something like that. So we got a couple of Splodies in, and let's get a Flame Aura in. Do we want to go 2 Flame Auras here? I kind of feel like we want to go 2 Flame Auras here, just because we do have those Frost Orcs, and fire damage, of course, is what you want to use against Frost enemies. Let's just go with that right there and see how it holds. Now, up top here, we've got, we do have Cyborgs here. We've got another mini Frost lane. The main benefit you have on this map on the top lane is just using any auras up here is going to kill the flyer lanes by default. So I do want to start the build here with auras. So I'm going to go with a Flame Aura tucked around the corner right there. We're going to go with another Flame Aura directly out at front, and that should be enough to burn away all of those baddies that are flying in from below. Now, we've got the Cyborgs here, so we want to get that Cyborg protection in. So let's go ahead and drop, let's see, let's just drop a Reflect Beam directly across and around the front. Kind of something like that. We've got our Cyborg protection in, and then we want to get in a little poison for the crowd control. I'm going to just drop it right behind, just kind of at an angle, just like that, for the maximum spawn campage. Now, what next? We don't have our Splodies in. We don't have any oil in. Where can we sneak that stuff in? Well, I mean, we can put it in just about anywhere. Let's just throw it there for anything that makes it past. And then I think here we'll just go with 1 explosive trap as well, just for a little power right at the end of the lane there. Alright, so we've got 270 DU left and only 1 lane to go. And this one is actually not too tough of a lane. We got no Cyborgs here, so we can kind of do whatever we want with our Reflect Beam. Let's go ahead and go with Poison directly across the way, something like that. And we'll put, you know, let's just do this with the Reflect Beam. Get 1 big area there. Or, you know, do we want to go... Let's get the explosive traps in first. And we'll go back to back on these explosive traps, something like this. And then we'll weave that Reflect Beam in and out wherever we can get placement down. So now we're going to have the earth coverage for that Petrify combo. Let's just do something like that. And then we've also got some power in for those explosive traps. Now, let's go ahead and drop, we'll oil them up right up in the front this time on this one. That should cover everything, and then we're going to have room left for a couple of Flame Auras. Let's see, let's get this one in the corner first. We don't have any Cyborgs to worry about on this lane, so kind of GG's there. We'll put this one up just as far as we can get it. And then what else do we have? Well, we also know we got some throwers up top. We've got throwers in the bottom. So just to be completely safe, it's never going to hurt to get a little Reflect Beam around the core here. Now, that's going to protect us from those top side and bottom side throwers. In fact, I want to get it a little bit closer here. Let's just go something like that, and we should have pretty good coverage. At least 50 DU left to do whatever we want, but let's go ahead and just get it started and leave that DU out. Now, I do want to make sure that these flyers die, and I want to make sure they die real good. So I'm going to throw my upgrades right there on those. I'll throw my last upgrade on that explosive. Now, let's just let it fly and see how it holds up. I am going to want to pay attention to the Cyborgs, or pardon me, the Berserkers up here on this lane. And then the Frost mobs down on that lane. Making sure that those Frosties don't overrun my setup over here. Having those Flame Auras in with a decent amount of range on them should be enough to get the job done. And like I said, we're still pretty low floor. So this floor is very, very able to be done with C7 gear. Of course, since I'm done with AP resets, though, I want to get my stuff back up to full power. Now, things got steamrolled pretty darn good here, so I think we're going to be in good shape. Let's go ahead and head back up here, make sure this lane is good and jacked. Those flyers will have no problems getting burned out now. And then we can do the same thing here. Let's get both of the explosives, the flame auras, and let's see what we can do. Now, there was a lot of panic with this last update with the reflect beam being nerfed. The day the update actually hit, Rexo and Artie did like a floor 970-ish with their same old stuff just by moving some things around, taking out the reflect beam except where there were cyborgs and throwing in 2 protons instead, one with earth and one with poison, and then using explosive traps to get the job done. So there's no major changes to your setup needed to still go through and climb if that's what you want to do. You're just going to want to think about your build and move some stuff around. Now, additionally, the old reflect beam builds were used at floor 900 plus as well. However, if you're going to use the old reflect beam builds, you're going to want to make sure that you're a little bit careful about how you have things set up, as placement will be very particular with the nerfed down reflect beams. We're getting it done. It actually looks like it's full on snoozer mode, so to keep this video from taking a month to get completed, why don't we go ahead and jump on forward to wave number 5. And here we go in wave number 5. We did get a Slekelion. I am way OP just in the 0 of 5 stuff, even without my ancient power for floor 53. So just not required. It's turned into a complete steamroll. And it's left me with a little confidence that I'm ready for the next update. Now, I am really hoping this next update doesn't do more stuff in Onslaught, because in my opinion, that would be just a horrid mistake. They've got so many things tied into Onslaught right now that they kind of force you to do it, and it's just not a very rewarding game mode. So I'm hoping that that's not the case in the next update. We will have to see. Using just this setup right here, it's really only got one weakness, and that's Frost Orcs. And then like a Kursakazi lane would be a weakness as well. We do have a Drakenlord up here, which should just get owned by the Petrify. And yeah, we're looking pretty good. Now, using similar builds to this on like the Prime Betsy Incursion shows what you can do against a little tougher enemies. Obviously, the enemies here on this floor are not super difficult to take on. But that will do it for now. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to click that like button. Please subscribe to the channel. There will be more DD2 coming, but we're going to need that update, you know? So waiting on the update to get here. Until then, there's just really not much left to do. But that will do it for now. Thanks a ton, and I will see you soon. Take it easy.